Welcome to Big Beats Fucking Metal Show. Welcome to Big Beats Fucking Metal Show.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to Big Pete's Metal Show. And today we're going to be talking about not so much a metal album, but a famous rock group known as Queens of the Stone Age. Now we're going to be talking about their new album, Villains, which was released August 25th, just about a month ago. And this is one of the albums, like, at first, I think it's really, really fucking awesome. And, you know, I hold a very high opinion of it. But over time, as I've listened to it over the past month, probably 7, 8, 9 times now, it's my initial standard of greatness I held it to has gone down a little bit. Like, I'm not saying it's a shitty album, but it's not as great as I thought it was originally. So, of course, we're talking about the album Villains. And this album was produced by pop and hip-hop producer Mark Ronson. He's most known for the song Uptown Funk with Bruno Mars. You know, he's produced lots and lots of other notable material as well in the pop music world. And it looks like he was out of his element, as well as the band, and they collaborated and he produced this album. Now, I think the production for it being a rock record sounds a little flat to me, but I can get over that. You know, production it's not like the most important element. If, you know, to me the most important element is the music itself. I can get over a slightly shoddy production. But onto the music, we open up with track 1, Feet Don't Fail Me. And this track is probably the funkiest and grooviest track on here. And, you know, it opens up as a really slow, drawn-out uprising to this grand funk groove that we hit in the opening section of the song. And it's a pretty good song, and I'm not gonna lie, it's one of the highlights of the album. And track 2, we get to the leading single off this album, came out in June, The Way You Used to Do. And this song is it reminds me of that song from the 90s, Mambo Number 5. For some reason, it just reminds me of that song. And it's you know, it's a pretty good song, but it's more of how the fuck do I say it? It's got more of an upbeat tone to it. Now, this isn't exactly dark, really dark Queens of the Stone Age that we got in 2013's release. So I guess by trying to follow up an album like that, I guess is do the complete opposite, maybe. Anyway, we go on to track 3, Domesticated Animals. Now this one's got more of more riffing to it, I guess you could say, and it's a little mid-tempo, but it's not one of my favorites on the album, and it's a little forgettable. And we come to track 4, Fortress, which is one of my favorite tracks on the album. My 3 favorite tracks on the album will be track 4, Fortress, and track 8, The Evil Has Landed, and track 9, Billows of Circumstance, but we'll come to those later. And so anyway, we get to track 4, Fortress, and it's got lots of use of synthesizers, it sounds like, and it just creates a really awesome mood to this song, and it's just it's a standout point on the record for me, at least, and it's just a really enjoyable track. And we get to track 5, Head Like a Haunted House. I didn't really like this song necessarily. I go as far to say it's my least favorite on the record, and this is more of like it's punk influenced, like old, not like hardcore punk, like late 70s punk sounding, and it's just got that vibe and feel to it, and I can't really get into it that much. And then we get to track 6, Unreborn again, and that's kind of like track 4 that I mentioned earlier, Fortress, but it's a little different. And we get to track 7, Hideaway, and there's not really anything standoutable about that one either. And track 8, The Evil Has Landed. That's a very enjoyable track. It's slightly on the faster, heavier type, and I know that sounds like I'm talking about like thrash metal, but it's not compared to the rest of the album. And that's a very enjoyable track as well, until we get to track 9, Villains of Circumstance, the almost title track. Now at first this song, it's very quiet, and it's very soft, very mellow throughout the verses and the intros, and it just explodes into the chorus. Not necessarily exploding, but they grind it down to such a low, a slow and mellow pace through the verse that it appears as if it explodes into the chorus, which is no more than just a mid-tempo, regular, some of the stuff we've already seen. But it's incredibly catchy chorus, and we repeat this a few times, and the lyrics are okay. They're not the best, but they're all right. And we close off the album. Overall, I would rate this album an 80 out of 100, where at first I was thinking about rating it maybe a 90 out of 100. But upon further listens, my opinion of it went down a little bit. But it's still a good album. It's experimental in many respects, especially for the band, when their most notable material is albums like Rated R, Songs for the Deaf, and Era Vulgaris, and other, pretty much everything else in their discography. This album really stands out as being different and experimental. And I think for the most part they were able to hit that on the head and hit it good. So that concludes my review of Queens of the Stone Age, Villains. What did you think of it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Slap a like on this video, or don't. Well, the original ending of my video got fucked again, but that's it for me. Stay metal, keep it brutal, and peace.